to the channel. IOK Games here. So today is October 28th, 2025. That is the release day to the public for the Just Flight hosted websites, BlackSquare developers. And the BlackSquare team have given us a twin engine, not given us because we'll get to that in a second, but provided for our consumption at a nominal price of $44.99 MSRP off sale. The Beechcraft Baron 58P is this variant. I want to make sure I get that right. This is the pressurized version. There's a For $44.99, there's a non-turbocharged version that you get, a turbocharged version normalized, and a turbocharged pressurized version that essentially is what this is, the cream of the crop on the Baron 58, right? So it's the P model, and I am out here exploring out at Sidlitz Bay, where I like to do all of my reviews. That's Sierra 4-5. And yeah, we're flying in apparently real world weather because I think it adds to the flavor and the ambiance of what we're flying into. So forget the clear skies. We're going to be trying this airplane out today. And first as first, we're going to stand out in the rain. And we're going to look at the weathering and the texturing details, as obviously the nose cone seems like it has bared the brunt of insects and paint chips and whatever else is embedded in that paint there. And I'm looking obviously at, wow, look at that. Oh, sorry, let me get back to that. My fault. The cracking in the clear coat there on the nacelle scoop. Wow, it's neat to see that. Gives it a little bit of flair, right? Okay, nice little alternator there with the positive wire and negative wire as well. The cylinders there, of course, with the fins for the air cooling and heat dissipation. The propellers with the de-icing boots, all top notch. These aircraft are stated as theoretically being some, if not the most study level quote unquote aircraft that you could possibly get, right? I think BlackSquare is known for very, very high end simulation, in my opinion, and I would venture to say others would say the same. It's not just a beautiful model, they've gotten that 100% dialed in here for sure. I mean, you can look at that rivet line in the navy blue paint there with the dimples. It's very, very sharp in texture. That's why I try to bring these to you in 4K, because I just want to see. I want to show you what you see with your own eyes here in terms of quality, flaps, tracks. Everything here is very, very nice, high standard. Winglets here, material usage. This guy does not come with the airplane, but I digress. Look at this trim tab here. Even the heads of both sides are really, really sharp in terms of the fasteners. I mean, there's a lot of geometry going on here, and I can tell you it is very, I don't want to say easy because this is 2024, obviously, and this plane is available in 2020 as well. But it's very easy on the frame rate, surprisingly easy for the level of detail and geometry in these parts here. I mean, yeah, like even just the Phillips head screws. Whew, a lot to be happy about there for sure. Anyways, let's hop on inside. So again, this is the turbocharged pressurized version. Lots of clickables. The Bonanza in my other two reviews, the piston variant and the turboprop variant, are also done in such a high standard. Now you can get both in a bundle. You can buy either or. You can buy just the Bonanza or just the Baron, which is this obviously the Baron, or you can buy them in the package for $64.99 off sale, retail MSRP. I am not in any way, shape, or form sponsored by them. I purchased it with full payment myself, and so I'm giving it the works, trying it out for full price. Just giving you an honest opinion here. But I've purchased many, if not all, of the 2020 planes, that being the TBM A50 by BlackSquare and the Duke, as well as the Starship. They are all both available in 2020, right? And then 2024 as conversions as well. So lots to be had there. Quite the pilot in command view, right? Lots to look at here. Really neat. High-end twin. This is really nice for regional flight, GA, of course. So let's look at some things here. I actually already took that off to lower the flaps so that we could see those outside. But yep, control locks, and I just like to remove those yokes because it makes things easier when I'm navigating in here. But suffice it to say, we have the movable EFB with all of the primary and secondary as the same exact setups are available avionics-wise in the Bonanza, right? PMS 50, 750 GTN, of course, and TDS as well. Lots of the same variables, if not all, right? Chalks, covers, engine heaters for cold weather starting, so on and so forth. Very clickable, center of gravity here on a live readout. Really need to see that. Doors, pilot doors, right? Nose doors there. Let me zoom on in there. Sorry about the quirkiness. Really nice. Even like the level of finish there and the padding on the upright part of the interior. Really nice looking. Close that. Left engine and right engine. So with the study level aircraft, we're going to attempt to start this in the same way that I tried to start the Bonanza. This is not a guaranteed start. These engines are absolutely, they feel like they're alive when you get them alive, and they also feel like they're not functional when it's difficult to get them started. That's because, well, you'll see, the cylinders can flood with fuel and the plugs can get all knackered and everything. So yeah, really, quite the thing, you know, pistons, everything. There's a lot of damage model that can happen. Let's hop right over to the failures. I'm just gonna quickly scroll down here, right? Engine failures. I mean, we could talk about these wearables, and yes, they are wearable, like all day long. I mean, there are so many here, and I apologize for scrolling so fast, but that is the level of authenticity that has been simulated here. And in terms of even the cabin is simulated here, right? All of the fans, all of the temperatures, pressures, aircraft and cabin altitude, bottom right of the EFB, right? You can even see how you're stacking up there, cabin level versus airplane level. Really neat, really thought out. The electrical flow chart as same thing in the Bonanza. So this is all very similar. I'm excited and halfway terrified because we have two study level engines to start here. So if you're familiar with other products such as A2A, the Comanche, and their other products, like this is on that level for sure. I'm not going to say who's better. I'm not going to say who's worse because to be honest with you, they are both neck and neck for outstanding products in terms of, you know, engine fidelity and simulation. Just if you're looking for study level, this is the go-to. This level here, this EFB should tell you everything you need to know about the system's involvement in this aircraft. So let me go ahead and get all set up and get these things ready to start before having, you know, a minor panic attack for the sake of the video, and we'll be right back when I've calmed my nerves and tried to start this without making a fool of myself. So be right back. Okay, so to start these engines, what we want to do first is I put the props forward. As I said, I have to do that by hand. I've got the battery all spun up here. We're 99%, which should be enough. We're going to turn on our right and left fuel selectors for the cutoff. And what I like to do is I'm going to start the right engine first. So I'll crack the throttle a little bit, turn on the right-hand fuel boost pump. And you can see there's a little bit of fuel in the line there on the right engine, but we're going to pressurize the manifold here so that it's got fuel to start. You can see the lines filling up with fuel. And now you can see just a tad of fuel in the actual cylinders themselves. So, you know, on planet Earth, we do this thing called air, fire, and spark, right? The spark is the fire. So we get a combustion like that. Leads to a starting engine. It's stupid, I know, sorry. Anyway, so let's go ahead and see if the conditions are right here to start this. I've got the mixture forward. I'll go ahead, throw open the cows while we're at it, and then rotate this and slowly advance the throttle. Okay, she's running. So everything's good with that. Let's repeat the process for the left-hand engine. We'll throw on the alternator, the beacon, and the nav lights. Let's go ahead and say, crack the throttle just a bit. Introduce some mixture. And we'll put that pump on. We'll pressurize the line. Let a little bit of that fuel go from the injector into the cylinder. And with our pump on, we'll go ahead and crank it over. Okay, so let's bring them up to just above idle so they don't stall out. Theoretically, they shouldn't. They're in good shape, but let's keep this running. And then we will turn on the left alternator, throw on the avionics master. We'll throw on the pitot heats before takeoff, which I always forget. Move the boost pumps, taxi and landing lights. Okay, so as you can see, it's not overly complicated, but it's also, if you run out of battery charge, it could be not exactly a fun experience. But that, my friends, is why we enjoy the study level, correct? So let me get this thing all tuned up for takeoff, and then we will go ahead and head on out for this nasty weather day it's turning into here. But yeah, as you can see, there is absolutely no time on the Hobbs meters for this airframe or engine, either side. So yeah, this will be a first for me. Never took this off yet. So let's get this all going. I'll see you on the taxi out. Okay, so back at it. We got our doors all closed up. Obviously, this Boris audio works, just like the Bonanza. Sound effects are absolutely amazing. Heck, the sounds are most of the fun. We got our cowls open, flaps set to take off, essentially everything turned on. Lights, I really like the taxi. The feel of this kind of feels like a heavier version of Beechcraft single engine, namely the Bonanza. Really nice to feel that. Let's go ahead real quick though and turn on our pitot heats and listen to these turbochargers. Hopefully you guys can hear that. Really sounds nice. So let's line on up in this inclement weather and get on out of here. See what the takeoff roll is like in this aircraft. I'm expecting it to be pretty cool and fun. Okay, so we will turn on our weather radar right now, just because. And let's actually put our yokes back on too while we're at it. Okay, everything's ready. Let's spool up. I'm going to try not to talk. Hopefully you guys can hear the engines and me okay. Nuts. Positive and gear. And climbing at 1500 foot. We are going faster than the blue ASI line, so if we were to lose an engine at this point, we would still be at a vertical speed that we can handle with one engine. So because I had the mixture set up for my TCA controls as my third and fourth throttle quadrants, essentially I'm going to have to do the propellers by myself, like as stated, going up anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000 foot a minute for a climb. So we'll pull back the climb rate just a little bit as we hit these clouds. Gonna throw on the propeller sync. Try to even these engines out a little bit. And high enough now that we can throw the takeoff flaps off. A little bit of gust out here. And try to keep this between 1,000 and 2,000 foot a minute climb. Let's level off there so that we can actually see some stuff out of the window, hopefully. We'll pull our manifold pressure way back. And I'll try to trim out for some level flight here. But it is quite choppy, so might have to manipulate the yoke here a little bit ourselves. Leave the taxi lights on, and I'll actually drop down a little bit of altitude here so that we can see what's going on just for the sake of the review. But I like to fly, as I've said in my other Bonanza videos out here on the same day for the review. I like to fly in the real weather. I think that it's nice to see the things with the clear sky, but this also is, you know, turbulent, right? So we're essentially getting the full effect of what it would actually be like to fly on a day like this in the Pacific Northwest, and I think that adds to the realism. So suffice it to say, we'll bring it down just a little bit. I noticed the propeller sync is doing its job so that our engines are operating at the same RPMs as well as our propellers there. It's really nice. Doesn't give us that droning back and forth noise. Cow flaps, of course, still extended, but that's all right. Definitely some chops out here today with this weather. So I'm noticing that it definitely feels heavy, and it feels very susceptible to the conditions for sure. I mean, this is not by any stretch of the imagination a nice day, but it's nice enough to do a product review. I want to get this out to you as soon as I can. So hopefully you see what you're getting into. Hopefully a lot of fun. These aircraft, you know, with the complexities of two engines, both study level, the weight of the plane, the way that the brakes feel, the taxi, it's all there to be had for the fun. I feel like there's a lot of product here, whether you buy just the Bonanza or just this Baron from BlackSquare. I feel like you are getting a whole lot of product here, either or both in the bundle, right? 45 bucks for either the Bonanza or the Baron independently, or 65 basically for the bundle. It's a lot here for sure. Probably for sure some of the most complex aircraft I've seen in GA so far. I mean, there's a lot of really good options out there these days. We've seen a lot of really nice twin engine stuff. I like, and this is not to brag on behalf of the developers, because again I paid for this myself, but the fact that the Duke, the Piston Duke, is really neat. This does feel different than the Piston Duke, for sure. So it's not just a clone by any means. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. There's a lot of products out there these days. How do you make something feel unique and original? So whatever the answer in code to that solution is, I am not an expert, but I can tell you by the seat of my pants, it definitely feels different than the Duke. It's a lot more visible out of the side windows and the front window, as opposed to the Duke, where you kind of just feel like you're shoehorned in as an afterthought. Not saying there's anything wrong with that in the code. I'm just saying that is the structure that the Duke was designed around, and just the way the airframe is made, not a lot of visibility. You just get in it and you fly, but you don't really sightsee in the Duke. At least that's my opinion. This aircraft feels like it's got quite a decent range in terms of like performance. It can cruise, but it can also fly slow. Feels heavy, but not too heavy. So I will go and make a really long powered turn over these mountains here. We'll utilize this turbocharging. Again, this is pressurized, so you can get some altitude with this plane and not really worry too much about topography. In terms of, you know, not being able to get over the mountaintops. Plenty of extra power here. But I'm essentially turning left to make this a very, very weird long left-hand turn till final. So that I have a visual reference with such a low ceiling. I don't want to turn over the ocean and not have anything in view. For visual reference, I mean, this is definitely what I would call IFR. But, you know what? You guys need the review. I want to get it out as quick as I possibly can. Hopefully I still have a viewership out there. I know I haven't really made too many videos lately, but working on that. I like to bring you guys the best of the best. And this is right up there with it. Let's go ahead and turn our weather radar off so that we're not X-raying anybody on the ground. Let's go outside and look at the gear animation. Like that, let's put in some flaps and some gear. Make sure our prop sync is turned off and that our boost pumps are actually on, because Mr. Genius just realized he didn't turn them on for the takeoff roll. So these full flaps really slow this down quite a bit on approach. So I've noticed you seemingly want to keep a higher airspeed. It's happier like anywhere 90 or above, I guess. In my experience, these trees kind of don't help either, but I believe again in actually performing in real live weather, because I just think it adds to the to this scenario here. But Mr. Non-Professional here in the Professional Baron is going to try and touch down as easily as I can. So, not ideal, but I guess we're alive. Maybe we have a bill to pay for those tires and the exploded landing gear. However, you know, I always say this in my lackadaisical experience. I'm so used to the 2020 ground patch model for the Contact that it's like this 2024 is a new experience to me. I also like to sit higher in the cockpit so that I can see out the window, and it kind of throws off the you feel like you're in like an Airbus A380 because you're so high up, when typically I don't think pilots are usually this high up in the seating. So let me just get off of this runway here and cry myself to sleep later, but finish the review first. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess the headrests are kind of like where they would typically be. I'm just making excuses for my lack of performance. However, it is not on the behalf of the airplane. I am, in fact, less than a qualified pilot. But I want to get you these reviews so that you can make a decision based on yourself. I will say that this aircraft is very, very high fidelity, as the Bonanzas are as well. A little bit more here to manage with two engines, and God forbid you have an engine out, which is entirely possible on one of these BlackSquare planes. I just kind of highlights the necessity to stay wide awake when you're flying in aviation, because low altitude, the complexity, and the possibility of things essentially, going wrong is very prevalent when you have two systems, meaning two engines and two propellers and two alternators and yada yada yada. List goes on and on and on when it comes to the complexity of a twin engine. But I think that it's really, really fun exercise in Flight Simulator, flying a dual engine Baron, because this could be a great source of joy, but it could also be a fair bit of challenge. To fly this smoothly is absolutely a challenge for me, but that's what I like about the quote-unquote study level. It is essentially the drive to improve upon technique, and this plane will absolutely pull the depth out of you in terms of simulation. So that's what I like it for. Very complex. Lots of possibility here. Let's go ahead and turn these engines off. Avionics, lights, floods, navs, beacons, strobes, blower vents off, AC off after the plane has already been turned off. Propellers, back to feather. Of course, I did not simulate an engine out, although this aircraft is capable of flying on one engine. Let's go outside. So, yours truly, Mr. Lack of Professionalism, is going to end this off by obviously saying what I feel I've said many, many times over. It is quite the study level aircraft, and this will keep you busy and smiling or frowning for hours, and I mean that in the most positive, uplifting way. For the price, I genuinely don't think GA Aviation, you could go wrong. This is for sure an excellent aircraft. And I want to mention, we are also obviously at sea level here at Silets Bay. But imagine the complexities of this with temperature variance. If you fly this anywhere around the world with some elevation and some cool temperatures or even some heat, the starting prospects of this and the running it and the warming up of the engines, this is what I strive to enjoy, the depth. So with that, I hope you've enjoyed this content, and let me know what you think below. Hopefully you heard me okay. I know I've had audio issues in the past. That being said, I appreciate your time. Until the next one, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.